Hi everyone, and welcome to case study questions on Chapter 10. The first question is, what would our author argue are types of change should Hawk and Day responders consider? I believe there are many types of changes that the author would have Hawk and Day responders consider. There's many different barriers to innovation and change. Developing our awareness of the barriers to change in a productive way that is sometimes painful but amounts to success. According to the author in section 10.3.3, knowledge or information deficits can provide more knowledge and information for changes. On my second question, I chose is should Jill be considered innovations or incremental changes? Apply and cite the text. I put yes, Jill should consider innovations and incremental changes. According to the author in section 10.4, when changing, there are three types of organizational structures to meet the disruptive innovations. The first is focusing on new ideas. The second is spinning a new adventure. And third is merging organizations. Valuing assumptions during change helps organizations identify the need of change for development strategies and tactics for a productive change. And I believe if Jill considers these, she could make those developmental changes in Hawk and Day responders. The third question is, which process or model for innovation and change should be considered? Why, and what does our text say about this? My answer is there is more than one model or innovation that should be considered. Throughout section 10.5, the author explains each innovation or model. While reading this, I see that all of the models and innovations can be applied in some way to the Hawk and Day responders. For example, diffusion of innovation comes in to help the organization understand that creativity is a process of generated ideas that could be adopted. In the purchase model, the staff could have some external come in to identify something Hawk and Day responder staff are knowledgeable in the area. The doctor-patient model can be used to require communication specialists to prescribe an appropriate solution. Pretty much meaning that if one of the staff members cannot figure out what the solution is because they're not knowledgeable in it, they may have to have an outside source come in that is knowledgeable in that area. And also in the appreciative inquirer, it's a positive environment that expands and is encouraged instead of negativity in the culture, which goes a really long way if you have positive environment versus negativity. Question 4 are, what are the barriers to change at Hawk and Day responders? And use the text when you answer this question. My answer is section 0.3 tells us that compliancy, they do not like to change. People don't like that. They're scared of change. They don't know what's going to happen. They think things are going to be more worse for them than better. Not realizing the positive outcomes that could come versus the negative of the change, or if they don't change. Organizational silence could be also a barrier. Remaining silent, not discussing anything with your managers or anything due to multiple reasons. Knowledge or information deficits, the quality of participation process depends on how much your team participates in your process. If you have certain ones that do and certain ones that don't, the ones that don't hurt you, it seems like in the long run, and that's a barrier for a leader as well, to have to try to change that. Risk perception, having unimportant changes, uncertainty in gathering more information on change, contradictions and misalignments, meaning information, if it's not the same as told, active and passive resistance, stop a planned change and disagreement with change, organizational leaders who are not effective at implementing change can be hard. I know in my current position, our previous nurse had no idea what it was like to be a leader. she was very demanding and wanted things her way, or it was the highway. And come to find out that she was doing a lot of things wrong. And she ended up getting fired over it, actually. And to go on with the answer, let's see. Stop to plan change with the active and passive resistance, and having a disagreement with the change. Organizational trust. Concerns for employees. If your management doesn't seem to have trust or care in their employees, it seems to go the same way with employees versus management. If you can't trust your management, you're not going to apply to everything that they would like you to do. Organizational decline can be a danger of losing abilities. There's 5 stages that the author states for Jim Collins that he identifies in 2009. One is the hubris-born success. The second is the undisciplined pursuit of more. Third is denial of risk and peril. Fourth is grasping salvation. And 5 is capitalization to irrelevance or death. Using those 5 are major barriers that are hard to cross. And question number 5 is, based on the text, is there anything else you believe Jill should consider? I believe Jill should consider the facts and information on the many different styles and ways of changing the organizational innovation, change, and communication. Throughout this chapter, and actually throughout the whole book, I think would be very helpful for Jill to better the Hawkins Responders organization all in general. Reading this book has taught me a lot about management and how it works and what to do and what not to do. And also, it helps me see what my managers in my positions are doing wrong and what they're doing right. And it does help me try to be a better leader in the long run in general. And those are my questions for Chapter 10 in the case study. I hope you enjoy them, and I look forward to hearing from you.